The Krew, Episode 1, The Chosen One. The first thing I notice is the pain. My head is splitting as if my brain is trying to claw its way out of my skull. I blink, trying to bring the world into focus, but my vision swims. It takes a moment for the blur to sharpen into the crisp, jagged edges of reality. I'm in the cockpit of some sort of vehicle or ship, or what's left of it. The controls are dark, lifeless, and there's a spiderweb of cracks spreading across the window in front of me. There's a hole, too, big enough to put my fist through. Not that I'm inclined to test that theory. Through the fractured glass, a vast desert stretches out to the horizon. It's nothing like any place I remember, though that's not saying much, as I can't remember much of anything. Though something in my subconscious tells me the place is distinctly alien. The landscape is dotted with towering mushrooms, their caps easily wider than the ship. They're bathed in the light of a sun that hangs low in the sky, painting everything in hues of orange and yellow. There's a stillness outside, a quiet that doesn't match the chaos inside this cockpit. The air is warm and carries a faintly sweet scent through the hole in the window. I take a deep breath, and it doesn't hurt. The atmosphere's breathable at least. Small mercies. Hopefully my body isn't being overtaken by alien bacteria as I sit here groaning. I try to remember how I got here, who I am, but there's nothing. Just emptiness where I feel like there should be something. Anything. The ship feels familiar, though, like an old song whose lyrics you can't remember, but whose melody lingers in the back of your mind. I fucking hate that feeling. I should be scared, I think, lost and alone on an alien planet, but there's a calm that's settled over me. Maybe it's shock, or maybe somewhere deep down, a part of me knows this is where I'm supposed to be. Or it's the concussion. Probably that, actually. I glance around the cockpit once more, searching for anything that might tell me who I am. A name, a clue, anything. But there's nothing but the silence and the steady throb of my headache. So, with a deep breath, I start making plans to get out of this ship. There's a whole world out there, and maybe, just maybe, it holds the key to who I am. I start jabbing at buttons, guided more by instinct than knowledge. Maybe deep down, some part of me remembers how to fly this thing. But when a console sparks and fizzles out, plunging the cockpit into deeper silence, it's clear my subconscious isn't as helpful as I'd hoped. As the screen darkens to black, I catch a glimpse of my reflection. My first thought is, Schlit, I'm bald. I take some solace in the fact that it seems to be intentional to some degree. We'll see what surprises I have in store as it grows out. My eyebrows are dark and thick. The phrase, strong murderer's brow, comes to mind. I also have a dark brown beard and intense brown eyes. Or are they hazel? I never really knew what that meant. With a resigned sigh, I turn my attention to scavenging what I can from the ship. It's not much, but I managed to find a somewhat dented but disappointingly empty water container, a multi-tool whose multiple functions were, as of now, a mystery, and a rugged old data pad that flickers to life at my touch, only to display an error message. Still, it's better than being empty-handed. Packing these meager supplies into a makeshift bag, really just a piece of the ship's insulation I've fashioned into a crude satchel, I steel myself for what comes next. The wilderness. Stepping out of the ship is like walking into a painting. The alien landscape stretches out in all directions, a tapestry of vibrant colors and strange shapes. I guess I get poetic when I'm concussed. The ground feels spongy underfoot, a stark contrast to the solid metal of the ship. The air is hot but bearable, carrying a scent that's both sweet and tangy, alien, and yet not unpleasant. I have no idea where I'm going, but I know I need help. With nothing in sight, I pick a direction and start walking, hoping to find some sign of civilization before the sun fries my skin off. I'm starting to wish I had more hair. Or that I'd brought a hat. The sun beats down on me, and the landscape seems to shift subtly as I move, the towering mushrooms casting long shadows. Every now and then, I think I hear something, a rustle, a distant call. But when I stop to listen, there's nothing but the wind. I don't know how long I've been walking when I spot something in the distance. It's too far to make out clearly, but it's the first sign of anything man-made or alien-made I've seen since leaving the ship. Hope flares in my chest, and I quicken my pace. Maybe I'm not as alone as I thought. With renewed determination, I pressed forward, the odd structure in the distance gradually taking shape as I closed the gap. The sun, relentless in its vigil, casts long shadows that dance around me. As I draw nearer, the silhouette resolves into a more defined shape. It's the structure, all right, but unlike any I've seen before, or can remember anyway. It's domed, covered in what looks like a patchwork of metal and stone, with spires that jut out at odd angles, piercing the sky. Odd bits of stone and sandy rubble surround the building, as if it was abandoned immediately upon completion. Either that, or whoever lived here liked to play with explosives. There's a moment of hesitation. This is it, the first sign of civilization, of life beyond the ship and the endless expanse of desert and mushrooms. But who, or what, lives here? Friend or foe? My heart races with a cocktail of excitement and fear. Thirst ends up tipping the scales in favor of excitement, and I approach what appears to be an entrance, a doorway that stands slightly ajar, its design as intricate as the rest of the structure. There are symbols etched around its frame, glowing faintly with an inner light. Their meaning is lost on me, but their beauty is undeniable. I pause at the threshold, listening. There's a sound, soft and rhythmic, like the beating of a heart. Or maybe it's just the wind, whispering secrets through the cracks in the stone. Taking a deep breath, I step inside. The interior is dim, lit by the same soft glow that illuminates the doorway symbols. The air is cooler here, a welcome relief from the desert's heat. The walls curve inward, leading me down a winding path. The structure is larger on the inside than it appears from outside. A lot larger. It's disorienting, the way the corridors twist and turn, but there's a sense of purpose to their design, guiding me deeper into the heart of the structure. Finally, the path opens into a large chamber. The heartbeats I thought I heard outside are louder here, a rhythmic pulsing that seems to emanate from the center of the room. There, a strange device throbs with light and energy. It's unlike anything I've seen, but again, and not to belabor the point, but I don't remember seeing a heck of a lot. So maybe this thing was normal. I'm so caught up in the device that I almost miss the figure standing beside it. They're turned away from me, focused on the device, but even from behind, their presence is commanding. Cloaked in garments that shimmer with the same light as the walls, they seem as much a part of this place as the structure itself. Hello? My voice echoes in the chamber, tentative and soft. I realize I hadn't yet heard my own voice since waking up, and I'm surprised at its softness, belied by my relatively gruff exterior. The figure stiffens, then slowly turns to face me. Their skin is an odd shade of blue, almost luminous, like literally glowing. Their eyes are a deep purple, intense and knowing, giving the impression that they know far more than I ever could. I get the feeling I'd be pretty intimidated even if I did have my memory. From their appearance, their gender was difficult to discern, though for all I knew, their species could be without gender. For a moment, the entire chamber seems to hold its breath as I await a response. "Welcome, traveler," the figure speaks, and their voice is like music, a melody that resonates with something deep inside me. It's also as androgynous as their appearance, not that their gender is of any real importance at the moment. "It has been a long time since this place has seen a visitor from the stars." I'm speechless, rooted to the spot, not just by their presence, but by the sheer impossibility of this situation. I'm sorry, I think I might be lost," I managed to say, which feels like the understatement of the century. Their luminescent skin shifts to a warmer hue, a sign of amusement, maybe? "All who arrive here are, in one way or another," they reply, stepping closer. "But fear not, for you have found the Keeper, guardian of knowledge and guide to the lost." "The Keeper?" I echo, my confusion mounting. "I don't understand. Where is this place?" "You are within the sanctuary of Elar, a nexus of knowledge and a haven for those who seek the truth of the cosmos," the Keeper explains, gesturing around the chamber. "And you, traveler, have been brought here by threads of fate far stronger than you can imagine." Threads of fate? That sounds like something out of a story, not something that happens to people with no memory who crash land on alien planets, and okay, yeah, I guess my life is pretty far-fetched right now, so that tracks. I don't remember how I got here, or even who I am, I confess, the weight of my situation suddenly pressing down on me. "Can you help me?" The Keeper stares at me for a long moment, and it feels like they're looking right through me, seeing parts of me I can't even remember. "Your journey is only beginning, and the path you must walk is one of discovery and challenge. I can offer guidance, and perhaps in time, the answers you seek will reveal themselves." Guidance? I'm not sure whether to feel relieved or more lost. What am I supposed to do? "First, you must learn," they say, moving to the ancient device that pulses with light at the chamber's center. "For knowledge is the key to understanding your place in the cosmos, and the role you are to play in the events that are to unfold." I take a step forward, drawn to the device and the promise of answers. Maybe this is why I'm here. Not just to find out who I am, but to understand why I'm here at all. As the Keeper begins to activate the device, symbols and images flicker to life around us, a galaxy of information at our fingertips. And so, under the watchful eyes of the stars themselves, I prepare to begin my education. Just as the Keeper's fingers hover above the device, activating a cascade of shimmering symbols that promise to unveil the secrets of the universe, the chamber's atmosphere shatters with the abrupt entrance of a mystery woman. Her arrival is so sudden, so charged with urgency that even the Keeper, the eternal guardian of calm, can't hide a moment of sheer panic. "Oh, shit," the Keeper mutters under their breath. The woman, at least I think it's a woman based on the general body shape of the lizard-looking creature, stands with a presence that fills the chamber, her gaze locked onto the Keeper. And frankly, I'm glad it is, as her yellow eyes and bluish-green, scaly skin, right down to the lizard tail, were freaking me out a bit. "You!" she accuses, her voice a mix of betrayal and determination. "That was way harder than you said it would be!" Then she notices me. "Who's this?" I'm not sure," I pipe up. "Other than, apparently, the savior of the universe." The moment the sentence leaves my lips, I cringe. Strangely, so does the Keeper. "Wait." The already rather aggressive woman seems even angrier now. "Did they tell you that you were the chosen one?" Kinda? I'm lost. The Keeper speaks again, Miss Kev, you must understand, your journey—
Save it!
The woman cuts them off, stepping closer, her eyes flashing with a mix of anger and revelation.
Who are you really? Because to me it looks like you're just some fluckhead who convinces people they're special in order to get them to run errands for you.
The keeper's gaze flickers away, and in that moment, the grandeur that had surrounded them crumbles, now looking less like a cosmic sage and more like a child caught with a hand in the cookie jar. A wordless confession. The device, I interject, my voice uncertain. Is it not the key to my past, to the universe?
It's probably just a glorified search engine,
Lizard Lady says, as if I should have known that. I want to reply that apparently she had fallen for it too, but she's armed, and I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty scared. The realization hits like a physical blow. The mysteries of the cosmos, the promise of discovering my true self, all nonsense. Then all of this, my journey— I struggle to find the words. It's not entirely a lie, the keeper finally speaks, their voice devoid of its earlier regalness. I think that's a word. Every quest, every search does lead to discovery, just perhaps not the grand destiny you were led to believe, but you can still— Zara steps beside me, her earlier fury exacerbated by a shared sense of disillusionment.
We make our own destiny,
she says. And then she lunges for the keeper, her fist aimed to connect with a face that's lied to us both. But instead of the satisfying thud of justice, her hand sweeps through empty air. The keeper, with a smirk that I'd love to wipe off their face, flickers and fades, revealing they were nothing more than a hologram the entire time. A trickster to the end. Before we can even process this latest betrayal, the ground beneath our feet betrays us too, shaking violently. Alarms blare, a mechanical voice coldly announcing, "Self-destruct sequence initiated." Great, from cosmic scam to explosive exit in one morning. Well, we don't need telling twice. We bolt, each step fueled by a mix of adrenaline and the very human desire to not be blown to bits, until we've left the building and sprinted into the desert. Behind us, the building's tremors grow more violent, and I pray that the explosion doesn't reach us. But instead of the expected fiery end, there's a deep rumbling that crescendos into a roar. We skid to a halt, turning just in time to see the building not explode, but lift off. It shakes off the planet's hold, soaring into the sky, leaving behind a confused silence. Wait, so the self-destruct thing was just a ruse? I can't help but ask, my voice a mix of relief and newfound irritation.
Just one more trick up a sleeve of tricks,
she says, eyes tracking the building, now spaceship's ascent.
Well, it could have been worse.
Worse, I echo, incredulous. But then again, considering the experience we've had, she's not wrong. We've been played, but we're still here, still breathing, and still free to figure out our next move.
What will we do now?
Asks the woman. I'm not sure, I reply, still trying to make sense of our situation.
I wasn't talking to you,
she scoffs, her attention shifting away from me. With a flick of her wrist, a small robo-drone— that's a word I didn't know I knew— unhooks from her belt and propels into the air with a soft hum.
What do you think, Pete?
I can't help but gaze at the drone in surprise. Though after the day I've had, my threshold for surprise has noticeably increased. Pete, as she calls it, is a compact piece of machinery, about the size of a large textbook but spherical. It's matte black, accented with silver lines that trace its sleek design. It has 2 antennae that stick out the top of it. It's pretty cute, honestly. The drone beeps and whirs in response to the lizard woman, its lights flickering in patterns that seem to convey some form of communication. She nods, as if understanding every pulse and beep. I'm not sure if that's impressive or not. Can everyone speak robot? Good call, she says after a moment, turning her vibrant yellow eyes back to me.
Well, it was nice meeting you. What was your name again?
Your guess is as good as mine, I respond with a shrug, the humor of the situation not quite reaching my eyes. I can't seem to remember. Crashed my ship. I'm hoping the amnesia is temporary.
Weird,
The woman muses, her curiosity piqued, yet overshadowed by her desire to get moving.
Well, I'm Zara Kef, and I have to go now. Good luck remembering who you are.
She starts to strut away, the drone, Pete, bobbing in the air beside her, their shadows mingling on the ground.
Wait!
I call out, driven by an instinct I didn't know I had. The thought of being left alone on this planet, with no memory and no one to rely on, suddenly feels more daunting than any danger I might face alongside them. With a deep breath, I hurry after them. Patreon.com/RonPon. Patreon.com/RonPon. Patreon.